Hello, hello, hello. Wagwan, big up yourself for day, yada there, Brad. I'm Eliana, and we're doing our live to celebrate our 1 year on YouTube. Thank you for all of the viewers and our subscribers and everyone that's part of the Jam Fam tribe.
Welcome or welcome back to another Life with the Jam Fams and this our first live stream. I'm Kenya, and if you are contemplating about the reason we chose to move to Jamaica, there are many reasons. However, the primary reason for me moving to Jamaica is the fact that I needed to do good to my mental health. And I was also getting very homesick. And so it was just that season and that time where I needed to make the preparation to come back to Jamaica. And so I've done that. And if you are looking to do the same, then you need to consider how it is that you are going to be able to either survive where you are or make the trip to come back.
Lots of people have commented to ask me how I'm doing in Jamaica. So I found one pro and one con. So for me, the con I would choose is probably just queuing, laziness, and impatience. And my pro is that I was able to get my needs, my priorities, and my wants so I could adjust better to this new environment.
Mm, that's awesome. And in terms of your coming back to Jamaica, if you are considering repatriating, what I would suggest to you is expectations, expectations, expectations. You've got to be mindful of what you're expecting and just being able to manage that expectation, because the countries that you're coming from and the things that you're used to might not be things that you get when you come to Jamaica. And when we think about it, Jamaica is still a baby country. It's just 60 something years. It's not like some of the countries that we're coming from that are, 400, 500, and even more years and thousands of years in their operation and their running. And also the fact that some of these countries got a boost in their development with the income or the monies that they would have gotten from servitude, whereas Jamaica is having to grow itself through loans or credits and also the hard work of its people. And so some of the things that they have, Jamaica haven't yet, but it's an upward point now for Jamaica. It's a point where we can see that upward movement as the country is going to be developed. And when we see those movements on graphs, we know that they tend to go quickly once that curve hits. And Jamaica is making strides to getting into that place of upward mobility at the moment. And Simone Brady, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you. You were saying that we both are looking flourishing. Thank you. It's made a big difference to us here today. Being in Jamaica, it's just such a refreshing experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we're going to move on to our Q&A segment. So we had a question that came in for Mama.
Okay, so one of the questions that came in, the person wanted to find out what it is that we are doing in Jamaica for a living. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, I'm an educator. And so when I left the UK to come to Jamaica, one of the things that was important to me was being able to come on a sabbatical. So I came to Jamaica with the intention to get some rest. And so for the first year, that was my intent. And I made sure that I had enough money tucked away so that I could be able to do that and do that in the way that I would have liked. And so after 6 months of being here, a friend of mine who is also a repat, Dr. Ava Brown, she decided that she was going to be running Black River Film Festival. And so she asked me if I could come on board and give her some support with that as part of the team, which I did. So I worked as sort of a human relations person on the whole project, and I suggested that a youth festival would be a good thing to bring the young people into that frame of thinking from early. And so I project managed that. However, as you are aware, this is something that was the first staging, and so I was doing this as a support of my friend's vision. And so in terms of income, that was just minimum wage at its very best. So since September, though, I've decided that I'm going to start to work on some of those ambitions that I've had to work on. One of them is a digital product that I'm working on for people who are looking to repatriate, and you'll hear more about that as we go through. And I'm also now starting to work out the possibility of doing education consultancy here. So that's going to be my next thing that I'm going to be looking at. If you're coming to Jamaica and you're thinking about jobs and job opportunities, there are many job opportunities here. It's about knowing where to look and where to find them, and keeping your ear to the ground so that people can send you the information so you're aware. And the other thing, though, is if you're coming, one of the things to do is to think about what problems you can solve that currently exist and set up a company to do so. And make sure that it's something that's going to be a low startup cost to you so that you can get that done in the best way possible.
We have a question from Simone Brady saying, have you ever thought about being a repat consultant?
Uh, well, I'm happy to do the consultancy. People have asked me before, and I'm happy to give people the information and direct them to the places that they want to go, and the information that they need. I am also happy to walk people through the process because we've had to do it, and I've planned out my return to Jamaica over a period of time. I vision board it and I've executed, and so far it's going brilliantly. So yes, it's something that I've considered. I've done a series on here about moving back to Jamaica on our channel that you could look into, and I've also done. I'm also working on a digital product that people can purchase if that's something that they need, and if people want consultation advice to help them through the process, I'm happy to do that as well. Thank you for asking. Thank you. So Simone, hopefully we've answered your question with that. In terms of the consultancy, we will keep you posted in terms of the manual that we're producing just to support people with their process as they are looking at repatriating. One of the questions we've had recently actually is not even from somebody who's looking to repatriate, but it's somebody who's looking to expatriate. And they wanted to find out about the immigration process and places that would be suitable for them to come and live. And so that's something that I'm going to be giving the person the information that they so need in order to do so. So there are people who are also looking down the expatriation route as well, not just repats. Okay, so for those of you who are coming from the UK and coming to Jamaica, or those people coming from Canada, one of the key things that people ask us about is the healthcare in Jamaica. And we get quite a few questions for that with regards to the provision that's here in terms of the healthcare. Well, you know, when you think about healthcare, wherever you go, wherever you are, the experience of people are very different. So people have excellent experience of the healthcare service, and some people have poor experience of the healthcare. And it's just about the experience that you have. Now, in the UK and in Canada, I'm conscious that the healthcare provision is reasonably free. And so you have access to that. In Jamaica, the same is true, as it is in countries that are developing their infrastructure. The demands on the healthcare can be a lot. And so, of course, sometimes the waiting period can be a lot as well, or an extended period, which similarly from my experience in the UK, when you want to go to do certain things, you have to go on a waiting list and then get that. When you have an appointment slot, then that will be made available to you. It's a similar process here in Jamaica. And of course, there is the private sector that you can look at. And for many people who choose to return to Jamaica, they take out medical insurance, and many Jamaicans do the same, so that if they want to access private care, they can also do that. So There is somebody else who made mention about the communities in terms of communities to be. If you are coming back and you want to be one of those people living in a gated community, that's fine. But the majority of us don't. Um, we don't live in a gated community, and we're perfectly fine. In terms of the crime in Jamaica and relative safety, we feel safe when we go out. How do you compare your feeling safe, and what's the rationale behind your comparison?
Well, for me, I wouldn't say I don't feel safe in Jamaica, but I would feel more safe in England, probably only because I grew up there longer, so I'm used to all of those things that are happening. Even though there are crime everywhere, and there's actually quite a few crimes that have happened in the area that I grew up in England, because I was there for a while. Um, I did feel safe, and I had my mom and I had the Lord, so I knew that nothing would happen to me that isn't supposed to happen to me. So, yeah.
And when you go out here, do you feel like you need to worry about your safety or anything happening to you?
Not as much as I did last year.
Okay. And do you what was the reason behind you feeling that way last year?
Well, probably only because I wasn't really used to the atmosphere and I didn't know who was going to like jump out at me in from a random corner or something like that. And just like, yeah.
Which is a typical thing that people would probably feel wherever they go. So if you go to somewhere else that is new, that's the sort of feeling you would feel, isn't it? Because you're not familiar with the area, you're not familiar with how things are done. But this year you've been a lot more independent in where you go and how you go about your things. So do you feel that that's because you've become a little bit more comfortable with going out?
Um, yeah, I do think so.
Okay. So in terms of safety, it just depends on where you choose to live. So that's something that you probably want to put into consideration where you're living. So we've got
Um,
another question.
Simone Grady said, when I was there, I felt isolated because I have no friends. The family I have there, I don't really know them. Have you ever been feeling isolated?
Um, I don't feel isolated. Do you feel isolated?
Not really.
So in terms of school, you've made quite a lot of friends, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I find that if for I think for children coming to Jamaica, they will make lots of friends because the children in schools are quite friendly. Of course, like anywhere else, you're going to have children who say mean things and do mean things, but in general, they are quite friendly. And they try, and also because they want to hear the accent, they want to hear them speak. A friend of mine who just repatriated, she have her children, and when they go to school, the kids want them to speak so they can hear them, and they gravitate towards them to talk to them, so they get this atmosphere of kindness, and people are friendly to them, and people are also aware that they're not used to the system here, that it's different for them, and they also have a preconceived idea as to how the system elsewhere is, and they feel like it's significantly better than it is here, so they tend to be a lot more thoughtful and understanding to them if it's children. For me as an adult, I don't really feel isolated. I do have neighbors that I can talk to. And I also try to make sure that I have a network of people that I can call on and talk to. And we have set up, well, when I came, one of the things that I wanted, because Eliona is an only child, one of the things I wanted was a network for her. Because when we were in the UK, she had her network. And although she maintains her friendships from the UK, she didn't have a lot of friends here when we just got here. And so I wanted to build a network where she has people who understands her experiences because they come from similar environments, as well as the friends that she was building out in Jamaica. And so I set up a WhatsApp group, and on that we have some families who are, majority of them are repats, but we've got a couple expats on there as well. And so those are opportunities where we can do meetups and people can get to have the experience of being with people who are from similar backgrounds like themselves.
Um, does anyone have any questions that they'd like to ask?
Moving backwards, we have a question from, oh, thank you for your question, Sorrel Simpson. What parish are you guys and why you decide to live there? Okay, so in terms of the parish that we are living in, we're living in Manchester. We had, when we were repatriating to Jamaica, we thought about a lot of different places that we could go. We thought about places on the African continent, West Africa, East Africa. We explored those and researched them, and then we came back and decided Jamaica is going to be where we're going. When we were coming to Jamaica, the place we actually wanted to go was Portland. And simply because we have a lot of connections to Portland, and many times, and when we come to Jamaica, that's where Eliona is familiar with staying. And however, when we were getting down to fine tuning everything, we ended up deciding on Manchester, primarily because of the network of schools that are here that Eliona would be able to access. Also because of the fact that Mandeville is one of those cities outside of Kingston where it has some of the experiences that Eliona would have been familiar with from Milton Keynes, where we were moving from. It also have a lot of returning residents living here as well. Although Portland is increasingly getting a build out of returning residents going there because of the eco environment that is there. So those were the reasons we decided that we were going to move to this part of the country. Are you considering moving back, Sorrel? And if so, where would you want to move back to? Um,
You're welcome.
so there's some question from Simone, and it says, I didn't build, oh, so she didn't build that support group because she didn't know of any groups or know anyone out there. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So at the moment, if it is something that you're contemplating to do, then you can drop us an email. And email is in our description section on the channel. You can drop us an email when you're ready to come back, and we will send you the link so that you can become a part of the WhatsApp group if that's something that interests you. You chose yes, Manchester is nice and cool, and I like it too. In some of the parts of Portland, it is nice and cool, and it's easily accessible to all of those natural resources as well. So that's probably why a lot of people go choose there to return to. Yeah, it does have a lot. Increasingly, though, there's quite a lot of returning residents that are in St. Elizabeth as well, because of some of the estates, the housing estates that they've built out in Santa Cruz area. So you have quite a few returning residents who are going there. And there is a big expat group on the west side of St. Elizabeth over towards the White House area as well. And quite a few of them are in the Negril area as well. So that's fine. If you still decide that you want to come back to Mandeville. It was the other day we went out in town and we saw a lady who repatriated from the UK, and she's one of our subscribers, and we met her up, Donna, and we met her in one of the shops out there that we were in. So that was quite nice to meet somebody who repatriated and is also familiar with our story and our experience. So in terms of the comparison of school, if somebody wanted, if a parent is thinking about sending their children, bringing their children with them to Jamaica, what are some of the things that you would probably suggest that would help children to settle better?
To settle into school, in Jamaica.
Yeah.
I just think the main thing that you would need to settle in is first confidence, because I had 0, -100 confidence. When I went to that school, everyone was crowding around me and asking me different things. I didn't really talk to anyone. I just wanted to be in my own little shell. So I really think if you want to fit in a Jamaican school, the first thing that you need to consider having is confidence.
Okay. Is that because will that help with the relationship building or what exactly?
Getting to know everyone and making friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. And in terms of settling in Jamaica, what are some of the things you think helped you or would if it hasn't?
Well, I just think to settle into Jamaica, you could have like specific items that made you feel at home from where you came from to bring to where you are now. So it can just make you feel just happier, more safe in the area that you are.
Okay. So the accessories of things. So one of the things that people tend to query about is the shipment of their stuff to Jamaica and what they should ship. And one of the things that we made sure to do is the things that are significantly important to us that help to make it feel homely for us. We made sure that we ship those. And so that helped to add to the overall feeling of feeling safe because not only do you have your network of support, but you also have the things that you're familiar with and used to having so that it helps you to feel like, you've moved country, but you things to keep you feeling confident and feeling like you're at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of activities, activity comparison, what are some of the things you'd say?
Well, in terms of activities, I do think that there are more variety of options in England. Um, Specifically because in Jamaica, from Monday to Friday, I go to school and most of the time I come straight home. It depends what I have to get done. And then Saturday, I go to church. Sunday, because majority of the Jamaican population goes to church on Sunday, nowhere is open and no taxis are running. So basically, nothing is open. So then I just stay home and do whatever I do.
Okay.
So then in England, basically everything is open from Monday to Sunday, 24 hours. Yeah, especially where I grew up. And
Yeah. So there is a lot more things to do on a Sunday because on Saturdays so we go to church and so we won't be able to do a lot of those things. But on Sundays when the first time we tried to go out and we realized no, we didn't this is what we hadn't shopped on the Friday like we normally would. And then we went out and we realized no, 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 nowhere is open for us to go and do the things that we actually want to do. And so that's something different. But a lot of the activities like martial arts, gymnastics, swimming, and those things, you can access them in pretty much a lot of the places. We can in the city that we are at as well. So just want to look back at some of these ones. So yes, Sorrel, I would agree with you. Jamaica is definitely progressing and changing for the better. And it's going to take a lot of people pulling together to get it there. And yep, the foreigners are coming in because they're seeing the potential, they're seeing the writing on the wall. And so Jamaicans also need to see it and get in on the ground floor of it. Um,
um, Jem Morris said they didn't have a question; it's just a comment. They were delighted when they came across our channel. Thank you. The wealth of information divulged about Jamaica and the level of communication catering for all groups.
Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate it, Jem. And Sorrel was saying that one thing I see increasingly third generation citizens abroad of Jamaican descent seem to yearn for a lost culture of their parents and definitely, and they're rediscovering Jamaica and moving. And even people who have little affiliation with Jamaica in terms of the fact that they are just as I refer to them as Bantu. So they're Bantus in other parts of the world, mainly in North America, and they're looking for a place where they can go without having to move all the way to the continent of Africa. And a lot of them are moving to Jamaica. There are a couple of them on YouTube as well who have done so. So they're looking to find a place where they can feel grounded, feel like they belong, and just soak up the culture and the environment there. Um, Yes, Simone, so true, Eliona, about bringing things to remind you of what you were used to back home. It has helped significantly. And also thinking about the things that they want to have that they don't currently, and you're not sure if you'll be able to access them as readily in Jamaica. It's worth buying and packing those things if you're moving with children.
Norman FL said, "Good afternoon, LWJJF." That means that they're an original.
Jam Fam Tribe member.
Yeah.
Oh, good afternoon, Norman, and thank you for coming in and engaging in the chat.
Sorrel Simpson said, "I think YouTube has shown people a positive side to Jamaica."
Yes, and one of the reason I set this channel up when I was making mention of coming back to Jamaica, people were constantly saying to us, "Oh, why are you doing that?" Even the other day, one of my cousins told one of my high school friend that I am back in Jamaica, and she was like, "But why?" So, and people who kept asking when I say to them, "Oh, we're moving back, we're repatriating," they kept saying, "Why would you do that? Why are you doing that?" and things like that. So for us, it was important for me to set up a channel so people can get an idea of the life in Jamaica, other than that which they see on social media, that which they hear about when people are telling them, because there are so many positives to Jamaica, and it's worth people knowing. And it's just about having an open mind to Jamaica and to living here. Anywhere we live, we need money in order to survive. Anywhere we live, there is a risk of crime. Anywhere we live, there are going to be issues with the infrastructure and things like that. Some countries just are further ahead because they're a lot older and they had a lot of build up in terms of the push that and boost that they've gotten from other sources to help them to build to be at the place that they currently are, which Jamaica is getting to a place where it is also building out. And so it's worth seeing the positive sides of Jamaica, because living here isn't, there are so many people living on the island who are living perfectly fine. And anywhere you go, there are going to be different class of people, different groups of people with different ideals and different value system. So Simone was saying that there are so many positive sides to Jamaica, and she was here last year for about 8 months and didn't leave because of any of the issues with Jamaica. Oh, so you do plan on relocating again, and you feel more alive in Jamaica. It's such a difference being here. I do agree.
Sorrel Simpson said, "YouTube made Jamaicans who left know Jamaica has many areas." And Norman FL said, "Your videos are so refreshing and informative."
Thank you. Thank you. So yes, so a lot of people who tend to think about Jamaica, they think about it in a way where they are looking at the area that they were living in before they left Jamaica. And so that's all they think about when they're thinking about it. But I keep reminding people, Jamaica has 14 parishes, and when Portmore becomes its own, it will be 15. And if you think about it, we haven't really gone to all of those places. I mean, the other day we decided that we were going to do a full island tour where we gave, my sister and I decided we were going to give our children that experience of going to the different parishes and just seeing what they are like. We haven't really stopped in each of them to give them their due attention, but they got an idea to see how different it is from one part of the country to the next. And not necessarily a negative difference. They've had the experience of Kingston. We stayed over a night and we did activities there in the day. They've had experience of the East, they've had experience of the West, they've had experience of the North Coast, they've had experience of Montego Bay, another metropolitan area. So they've had a good experience to see that it's very different in different parts of the country. And so we shouldn't limit Jamaica just by the area that we are from, because there are so many differences happening in other parts.
Sorrel Simpson said the food is great in Jamaica.
The food is brilliant in Jamaica. I mean, even if you just think about the natural things, I mean, it is very awesome. The fact that you can go out and every so often you have different fruits and stuff. Somebody isn't really into those sort of things, but I quite like it. Sometimes you go and it takes you back a bit into your childhood. Really, it's awesome. It's fantastic. I like it. In terms of expenses, people have asked us in terms of expenses, and we've done some videos that shows the cost of shopping in the market, the cost of shopping in the supermarket, and general cost of living in Jamaica. We've done some videos recently in the summer, if you wanted to have a look at those. But when we go, our highest cost for utilities will always be our electric. And that's our highest cost. The next cost of things that we have is our shopping. And I believe that our shopping cost is what it is because of the fact that some of the things that we need, the things that Eliona is accustomed to and want to continue to have, are a little bit on the pricier side. And if you're moving with children, that's something you've got to consider, because some children will just change their eating patterns and just eat the things that they have in their environment where they're at. And other children want to just stick to the things that they're used to eating. So you've got to be mindful of how your children are when you're moving with them and how that's going to impact on your expenses when you're here. I mean, we shop fortnightly, and that could go anywhere from about 25,000 to about 30 something thousand. I mean, our last shopping that we did on this week was
27,000.
Yeah, was 27,000. And so we won't go shopping again until the next fortnight. And so we do it that way. We meal prep, we meal plan, and then we go shopping so that we reduce needing to buy stuff that we don't actually need.
Simone Brady said, I have learned how to shop smart when grocery shopping out here.
But maybe you need to share some of those tips with me, so I see if they are things that I currently do, and if they are not, then incorporate them in my shopping. At the moment, we do some of our things where we have a network where we get stuff supplied to us directly from the farmers, so that helps to reduce our expenses. And we tend to buy, if in the supermarket, we tend to buy a minimum of 3 of certain things, or a certain amount of poundage, so that we know that we're getting it at a wholesale rate. But it's also good to shop around from shop to shop to see where you get better deals, and just buy in bulk. If you buy in bulk, it's going to cost you a lot in the forefront, but it serves you over a longer period.
Sorrel Simpson said, fresh food. This is how food should taste. Jen Moore said, I agree.
Definitely, Sorrel.
Jen Moore said, I agree with you that the quality of life in Jamaica far exceeds living anywhere else in the world. I presently live in USA. However, our plans are in progress to return.
No, we know better than yard, for real. Yep, and especially when you're there and you're homesick, like no matter what other people say to you, you just know it's time to go and it's time to get back to where you need to be. It's just about planning it out so you know how you're going to afford living here.
Chelsea Clinton said, good afternoon to you and your beautiful daughter.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Norman FL said, I'm looking forward to more of this discourse. And
yeah, that's something that we could look at doing a little bit more frequently.
Lives?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think so. Simone Brady said, sadly, my 2 daughters only eat American food.
I get it completely. So, for example, when we got here, the cheese we have to buy is specifically the cheese that Eliona gets in the UK. So she's not having the Jamaican one at all, at all, at all.
I don't like how
So
it tastes.
she doesn't like
Most
how it
most
tastes,
Jamaican
she
things is
says.
just salty, so I can't sit and enjoy the actual
Mm.
flavor because all I taste is salt.
Yeah, I think because they use a lot of salt to preserve things, and they need to find other ways of doing so because the salt level is just a bit much on some of the things. And part of our healthy eating and to reduce hypertension, they need to focus on reducing the saltiness. The first time you had the frankfurters, you were gobsmacked, isn't it?
I couldn't eat it.
Oh my gosh. But over time, she's figured out how to just cook
Like,
it to get rid of some of the saltiness.
for example, tin sausage compared to the one in England, I do prefer the one in England. The one here, I just don't like how the moment it enters my moment I like put it in my mouth to eat it, it just dissolves, so I don't really get to enjoy to chew it.
Mm,
It
yeah.
just disappears off my tongue. And
And
in the UK, it's more like it's like the normal frankfurter, but they put it in the tin to preserve it.
mm, and I know that for you, the texture of things are important when you're eating it, or else you can't have it, or you don't feel good eating it.
It just feels weird. Simone Brady said, "Good news is that I had shipped barrels there, and I'm proud to say it lasted for 6 months."
So when we
That's
were, that is really good, isn't it? When we were coming, I was determined that I'm going to pack things. So I decided to pack things like toiletries, tin foods, bottled foods, things that we know are going to be able to last us for a long time. And we still have a few items. We still have toiletries, like shower gels and things like those left. We still have detergent, like fabric softener and things like those. We've since had to, top up some. And my sister came recently, and I made sure to do a online shop to send to her so that she brought some of the things that we needed as well.
We have two questions. Narman FL said, "Was it hard for you to make the transition back to Jamaica?"
In terms of getting everything ready, I was planning it for a period of time, and we had to push it back. So I thought about it, planned it out. We had to push back a little bit because of the pandemic. And then we decided, this is it. We've got to get it happening now before Eliona got much more into secondary school, because she had already started secondary school when we moved. So because we were planning and prepping constantly, affirming that this is something that we're going to consider doing. When we came here, it was the settling in. We were constantly busy trying to sort out and organize things. So for me, it's fight, get things done, and then you can sit and contemplate about it later on. So by the time we got there, we've resolved a lot of the problems, and so it was more relaxing. It I'm still not fully adapted to some of the things, though. Um, as much as I was born and grew most of my childhood in Jamaica, I'm still not at that place where I'm fully adapted. I'm just not yet. And from what I've heard from people who've repatriated, it does take a little while. It could take up to about 3 years to get there. So we've finished our first year and starting on our second year. So hopefully we'll be there soon.
We have a few more questions. Jem Morris said, "I am a Sabbath keeper myself. How is your worship experience in Jamaica so far?"
Do you want to?
Well, we've gone to many churches so far. So I think the first church that we went to was a Seventh Day Adventist church.
Mhm.
I think in Spurtree.
Yeah, we've been
Yeah.
to a couple more Seventh-day Adventist churches.
So we went to that one. It was okay, and then we went to another one in, I think, Kendall
Hmm.
area, and then we moved to a different one in Mandeville, a Seventh Day Baptist church. We just preferred the Seventh Day Baptist churches. They're more vibrant and lively. I just think that the Seventh Day Adventist churches, I think that they're more towards the older people than the younger people. Compared to the Baptist church, they're more leaning towards the youths to try and get them more into the church and the worship.
Okay.
Amza Harriet said, I'm thinking about moving back too. We'll be down for the summer for 2 months. I'm a New York City virtual teacher. How might an educator transition to the educational landscape in Jamaica?
Okay, so that's a good question to ask. In terms of for professional reasons, because as a teacher myself, when I came, I wasn't prepared to go and teach because I've done that for so long and I don't want to go back into doing it necessarily in the classroom. And so I did my training to be able to do teacher professional development for mathematics, which is my subject of specialist, but also for training teachers who are training to become teachers, as well as teachers who are in their early career stage and doing their teacher development. So that's what I'm looking to do. However, as an educator, there are lots of different things that you can do. There's still virtual opportunities that you can do here. There are, depending on the subject that you teach, there are high demands for maths and science here, and English, and also modern foreign languages. There are lots of demand for those subjects here. And so it's about applying, looking through the Gleaner to see where the vacancies are, and also contacting the schools within your local. The Ministry of Education do have vacancy listings, but that's normally after the schools are finding it difficult to fill those gaps that they send it over there. So you might want to contact any of those, depending on the parish you're going to be in. But I would start with the Gleaner to begin with and look at their job section.
Simon, Simone Brady said, from what I have heard, it will take time with adjusting. Well, it depends.
It's for adjusting in
For
Jamaica.
me, it did take me a while because I just didn't really want to. But I'm going to make the most of it. So I just decided, why not just adjust? Seeker
So
77.
you think that we can become our own obstacle in adjusting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Secret 77 said, good evening.
Good evening. Oh, you teach English lit, AMSA. That's fine. So that's part of, so the teachers here who teach English also teach English literature. So that should be something that you are able to get a job in relatively quickly. You say you teach virtually where you are, and if you're coming here and you're going to go into the classroom to teach, you need to, I would suggest that you contact a school and see how you can go in to just visit to see what it looks like here in comparison. Because if, for somebody who teach in the UK, the amount of resource and different things that I had access to teach, teachers here don't necessarily have that wealth of resource to teach. So I admire them for the job that they're doing, because teaching, regardless of where you are, is a tough job. However, when you don't have as much resource as you would want to, it makes it just that much harder.
Norman FL said your videos are very researched and eloquently delivered.
Thank you. We try to make an effort to make sure that we're informing people with accurate information and giving them a balanced view of Jamaica, because we don't at any point want to sugarcoat things and make it look like Jamaica is also fantastic and fabulous, because everywhere have its difficulties and its challenge. But I want to make sure that people are informed to make an informed decision.
Simone Brady said, so I've came across a lot of international teaching online.
Oh, thank you, Simone, for sharing that with her. So that's also a possibility, because teaching English literature, depending on the curriculum you teach, there are lots of people also who are doing homeschooling. And this is an opportunity where you could probably look into as well, to set that up as something that you do when you come back. Because homeschoolers, if you're teaching somebody who does homeschooling and they want to do the American curriculum, for example, that's something you could do if they're doing the British curriculum or the Australian curriculum. Teaching English literature to them would help because you're supporting the parents with delivering that.
First Lady said, yes, just got home after a long day, and guess who's live? To keep smiling me company. Loving the content, subscribing from London. Eliana, you're beautiful. Keep making mommy proud.
Oh, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Simone Brady said, doing more lives are a very good way to get more subscribers. Thank you for the tip. I'm sorry. Hart said, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Didn't go that way. So sometimes that happens, and people have to just pivot when things don't necessarily go exactly as planned. We just have to have lots of different options of ways to get to where we want to go.
So,
There's a question.
Norman FL said, why did you move back to Jamaica?
Oh, Norman. So I had said at the top of the video, so you joined us after, so I'll tell you. So the main reason was I wanted to come back to Jamaica for my mental health, and I was becoming homesick. Just wanted to be out of the UK and back here. After 25 years in the UK, it was pretty much enough for me. I feel as though my time that I was sent there, what I was sent there to do, has been accomplished, and that was it for that season. And now I feel as though Yah has decided that it's time to come back to Jamaica, and I'm here for such a time as this to see what is the next phase of what he has planned for our purpose and our destiny.
Secret 77 said, I was born in the UK and still having negative comments about wanting to live in Jamaica.
I was saying previously that when we decided that we were coming back, we were getting lots of negative comments. It was negative comments from Jamaicans living in the UK, negative comments from people from countries with similar economic makeup like Jamaica, who was giving us negative comments, and also people in Jamaica giving us negative comments. And when we got here, we had people saying stuff to us, thinking, as though it seems as though we're crazy. But you've thought through your process of wanting to come back. You know why you want to come here, and so you just need to work your plan and then get on with putting it into place so that you can execute. We are working on a digital manual updated about it to support you in planning your repatriation, if that's what you want to do. And when it's released, we will ensure that people have the link to how they can go and acquire a copy so that they can help themselves to plan it out. Anywhere you're moving to is going to have its difficulties and going to have its challenges. I say to people, the key thing you need to think about when you're coming here is, are you going to be in a place where you're going to feel safe? Are you going to have money to be able to cover your expenses that you have? And it's not about lavish living, it's about minimalistic lifestyle in a place where you know you're going to enjoy yourself and you're going to thrive. Because the major thing about it is you can have the quantity of life where you are in the countries you are at, because things are accessible whether on credit or whatever other means that you can get access to things. But the quality of life starts with your peace of mind and good being in a good state of mind. Because if that's not good, then most of the other things that you're going to do, the decisions you make and things like that, aren't going to be, and your joy and happiness isn't going to be at the best that it could be.
Do you want to read this too? This one and
sure. Chiny Chin says, love your mother and daughter, fabulous family. Oh, thank you. We appreciate it.
Secret 77 said, do you think it will be harder as a single female? I know it will be different.
Okay, so I am here as a lone parent. And yes, I have Eliona as my company. I have another friend of mine who repatriated about 3 years now. So again, she's a lone parent and she's doing perfectly fine. It's about having a frame of mind as to what is it you want to accomplish, and making sure that you're finding people in your network, building out a network so that you don't feel lonely or isolated, and you can have people when you need people to call on.
Tiny Chin said, "It's always a pleasure listening to you. Thank
Oh,
you."
thank you so much.
Simone Brady said, "The negative comments were most likely from Jamaicans. I always wonder why is that. Everyone has a different journey in life. Your journey won't be my journey. Decisions we make isn't."
I do agree. A lot of the people who say that are either from Jamaica or from countries similar with similar economic structures like Jamaica. And they tend to wonder why you would want to do that. And it's because they are convinced that where they are, life is a lot better. But also, it's probably the focus that people have. When you're in countries like those, you're able to acquire a lot of money quickly, but people aren't looking at the price they're paying to do that, their health, not just their mental health, but their physical health. Some people are working so hard that they're constantly in ache and pain, and they're having to still run out to the work to get the work done. And so the quality of life isn't really there, but they're looking at what they left when they were coming and what people have said. Also, there are a few people who would prefer to know that the problems exist and we could find the solutions to solve them, but they would prefer to go somewhere where these problems are already solved so that they can just experience that. And some people are just unaware of how they can go about addressing some of the issues. And of course, people say stuff constantly. We have been conditioned to think that Jamaica and other countries like it are just some of the worst places to be. I just saw a short, Burundi, and the way in which they were talking about it, they were saying like, if somebody have a bicycle in Burundi, it means that they are wealthy. Now this person is a person from the African continent, and they were showing us pictures and images of Burundi far removed from the one that was in the video. So it's the conditioning that people get constantly, but telling them that these places are horrible to be. Let's just see the
Norman
other ones.
FL said, "Do you think that the crime situation in Jamaica is a bit
Overblown. Definitely, I do think it is, and it's because it's what you hear. I mean, I go in the taxi, and midday news, you're hearing the graphicness of things, and you're thinking this is not even the time when these things should be said, because children could be hearing these things. So the children are hearing it constantly. Adults are hearing. Pardon me? And they're getting it in the early morning news, midday news, every point of the day, and it's constantly going because the news media have it as something that they can push instead of going to research and find other news that they can show to portray Jamaica in a good way. I'm not saying that they shouldn't talk about the crime, but if you think about it, in other countries, crime happens in our neighborhood, and unless we hear it on the grapevine, we don't know about it in Milton Keynes, because nobody's talking about it on the news. Nobody makes a big fuss about it on the news. It happens, people talk about it amongst themselves, and then they keep going. So it's about, I do believe that it's overblown. That doesn't mean in any way that that doesn't negate the fact that crime is significantly something we need to look at reducing. However, we need to also understand the context of the crime that's happening, and then figure out how we can find solution to support its reduction. But oftentimes, most of the places you are in Jamaica, that's not something you experience at all.
Simone Brady said, "To make others happy."
Yeah. The decisions you make need to be decisions that make you happy, and morally sound decisions. I always say, as long as Yah is pleased with the decision and I'm fine with it, then it's a good decision.
Norman FL said, "I totally agree with you."
Oh, thank you.
And Secret 77 said, "Yes, so true about the conditioning."
Definitely, it is a thing. And so it's about thinking about how we reprogram our thinking about it. And people are always going to be telling you why you're doing this or why you're doing that, no matter what it is that you're trying to do. It's about you having the conviction as to what you're doing and why you're doing it. And it's not that you're ignoring them, but you need to understand why they're saying what they're saying and see what is in there that can benefit you to help you to better plan out your program, so that when you actually make the move, it is to your advantage, because they don't see the things that you are seeing and that's being revealed to your spirit. So you've got to be mindful of that, because sometimes people project their fears on you, and they're doing it with good intent. They're trying to protect you from making horrible or bad mistakes. But at the same time, it's part of the fear that they're projecting, because they have fear about those things. So if you want to repatriate, just do your research and then put the necessary plan in place and then make the move. So all of the things that we've learned through having to plan our repatriation, all the things that I studied and learned in the time when I was doing it, the experiences I've had, conversations I've had with other people who've done the same thing, I'm putting that together in a manual so that you can have that to plan it out. And once I am finished with that, I've been working on it. And once it's complete, we're almost at the place of publishing it. And once that's done, I will make sure that you're aware. And if it's something you want to take to get and use to help you to plan yourself out, you can. It's going to be in an e-format, so you will need to consider whether you're going to work on it online or you're going to print it off so that it can work that way. And
Simone Brady said people have too much to say at times.
And oftentimes it's not necessarily the positive things that they do say.
If you have any last questions, thoughts, ideas of videos you'd want to see, we'd appreciate if you put it in the live chat.
Yeah. So that, because we're going to be wrapping up. And we thank you guys so much for spending this time with us today. We appreciate it. And we hope that we've managed to answer some of your questions, even for those people who haven't asked. We hope that we have managed to answer some of the things that you're thinking about and wanting to ask.
Okay. So for those who ask questions, we want to thank Simone Brady, Cyril Simpson, Jem Morris, Narman FL, Chelsea Clinton, Sahir, Secret 77 First Lady,
Chiny Chin.
Yeah. So thank you for commenting. Thank you for all of the viewers. Yeah.
We will look into taking into consideration some of the things that you have mentioned. If you haven't liked the video yet, we would appreciate if you did so. We are seeing quite a few people coming through and doing that, and we appreciate you. Simone
Secret 77 said thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Simone Brady said that a video idea that they'd like to see is a cooking video.
Cooking with me video. You know what?
I did one of those on my YouTube channel. So if you want to see it, it's at Life with Eliona.
Yeah, and she's been saying, oh, we need to do some of those videos. We haven't done the full cooking with me. Oh, excursions. Oh, AMSA, if you go back and have a look at some of our summer videos, we've done quite a few of those as we did a full island tour and some of the holiday activities that we were doing as a family. My sister and I and our children went on quite a few adventures and excursions in the summer. So you can go and have a look at some of those. Hopefully those will be helpful to you. And Simone, we will look into doing some cooking. Initially, I started to do some of those to just include in some of the things we are doing, but we will definitely do that. And we will look at some of the cleaning with videos as well.
Take Your Time said, what's the name of her YouTube channel? The name of my YouTube channel is Life with Eliona, yeah.
So the with the English word WITH, not with like on ours.
Anaya BKWDS said purchasing a car land, passport, and citizenship process. We
Okay.
did do a passport and citizenship process before, so you
Yeah.
can go back and look at that. We will be doing a purchasing a car video soon, so you'll see that eventually.
Yeah, we did do one where we went to look at some though. When we just came and we went to look at some, and of course, because of some changes in our circumstance, we haven't bought the car. But we will. We can look into some land one with you, and when we get around to purchasing one, we will do that. At the moment, we just rent a car when we need to go places with that.
Ava Dean said, "Congratulations on your first year."
Well, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Just to go back to Aniar, what you could have a look at is have a look at the passport and citizenship process that we've already done in the time when we just came, because we've done that on there. And then you can drop a comment there so I can know what other bits of it you would want to know about, and then I could um, look at that for you.
Secret77 said, "Can you do tours in the furniture stores, please? As wondering if more cost effective
To buy.
to buy in Jamaica than."
Okay, we
Well, we
do
did
have,
do
yeah.
a video about that, so yeah,
We
you
do
can.
have one on there already where we've done that. I'm trying to think when that was. I think that was about after either December or January time last year. We did a video on that where we were looking at different things. So I did some with appliance stores and furniture stores as well. I did Quartz and I did some other furniture stores, and I think I did Singer and a few other places. But it's something that we can look into doing again. From our point of view, we shipped some of the things that we were, and we're going to be putting up a video because somebody else asked the question about some questions, and we've done a video with regards to that. And so some of the things that we shipped, we have a video that we're going to put up with some of the things that we think would be helpful for you to ship. But we also have a Moving with Jamaica, the Moving with Jamaica series, have some information about that as well, that you could go and look at the things that you can bring. I will definitely go and see how to get you some additional cost if you do need it. So after you watch the ones we have, if you still need it, just drop a comment in there. And your who was the one with the furniture question?
Secret77.
Secret 77. Just drop a comment there, and I'll make sure to go and do whatever it is that you require after you've watched that video.
11 months ago, we did upload a video that's called "We're finally getting our delivery of our shipment." So if you want to watch that video, you can. And I think we have another one about shipment.
So in terms of the things we shipped, we also did that on the channel. So we have a video where we were packing for the shipment of our things, and we also have one when the shipment arrived as well. However, things that we shipped worth that I would suggest is that you explore appliances, because they're going to be considerably more expensive here, and also to explore things like mattress. The quality you're going to get for the price you'll get it will most definitely be better in your countries where that you're moving from, especially if you buy them in the sale.
We also have a shopping in Jamaica video we did 10 months ago if you want to look at that for
Cost of living?
cost
Okay.
of living and the prices.
Yeah. So we're just going to look at these last few questions. So these last few statements. So Simone Brady said that Treasure Box on Ward Avenue is great place to buy furniture. I've not been into there, so I will definitely try and go up to Ward Avenue and have a look. But
where did we buy our furniture?
Crypto something they're called is where we bought the sofa and the cooker.
I think it was in like an Asian shop.
Yeah, so I think it's called Crypto Appliances or something like that. It's in on the same street that leads up to Ward Avenue. So when you're coming down from the town center of Mandeville, going up to Ward Avenue, it's on the same. But I think the street is called Ward Avenue from the traffic lights upwards. I don't think it's the whole stretch, but it's the same street.
Secret77 said, "Thank you. Has it great to get views from UK to Jamaica moving, as there are mainly US content creators."
Oh, you're welcome for that. The variety of shipments. Some people have asked us about the shipping company that we've used. We don't get commission on it, but we do recommend it because it was a good experience working with them. So
Ava Deans wants to see videos on gated communities.
okay,
I'm not sure if we already have
I
one about
think
it.
I have a video on there. Yeah, we do have one, but it was just talking about the different communities that are available in Jamaica, including gated communities. A lot of people tend to ask us about gated communities and make the assumption we live in one. We don't. So we don't live in a gated community. But doing a video on gated community will require us to go into a gated community, and as you know, that the security going into a gated community can be tight, but we will look into it and see how we can get that video done, whether or not we have to go into one to do the video for you. But
we'll try to accommodate all of your video suggestions. I am note taking them so that you can see content that you like to see, because we like to formulate videos that people actually can benefit from. So yeah, so we will try to do cooking videos, clean with me videos, videos on gated communities, tours
land
of
buying,
stores, land buying, car purchasing.
yeah.
And
So we'll definitely do that.
So if you guys don't have any more questions, thoughts, comments, video suggestions,
we're going to go off in at in another minute and a half or so. So thanks a million. You're welcome. We will definitely try and see how we can accommodate that, Ava. Is it that you are looking to move to Jamaica and you want to live in a gated community? Because from my perspective, the difference with where I live in a suburb and a gated community is where in the suburbs you tend to get more land space majority of the time, although sometimes the land space is similar in terms of how much land you have for your property. In the gated community, you tend to have more access to things like swimming pool and courts that you can play on. However, being in the suburb, we have access to a swimming pool that we just need to pay for in the city center, and we can go and use. So there are places that provide those facilities, and we have access to all of the different activities and things that we want to do. So with younger children, it does provide some good access to like play parks and things like those. So if any of you are out there who have experience with working with play parks and you want to do a non-profit organization set up in Jamaica where you can get some more play parks around for children, that would be a good thing in some of the communities,
especially the rural ones.
So thank you, Simone. Have a great day yourself and enjoy the week. What do you want to read that comment?
Which one?
This one.
Oh, Simone Brady said, "Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Hope to see you live again soon." Ava Dean said, "Yes, I am thinking of moving over." That's nice.
Have you considered which parish you're going to move to, Ava? Do you want to read this one?
D. Thomas said, Miss Bev have videos about gated communities. She is a returnee resident in Jamaica and also does YouTube.
Okay.
Chocolate Bell said, Eliana is so intelligent. Great job, Mom. Have a lovely week.
Oh, thank you. And
Secret 77 said, I'll be in St. Mary.
St. Mary. Oh, St. Mary is quite nice. And we'll have a lot of natural resources that you can enjoy depending on where you are. And it's a stone throw away. If you're on the west side of it, it's a stone throw away from Ocho Rios, so you can get there and have access to the different things that you need quickly. We're going to end at when we are on for 1:20, and so we're just giving people the opportunity to say their final comment that they want to say, or their last question they want to ask. So we've got another question.
Norman FL said, why did you choose Manchester to live in? Personally, I think we chose Manchester to live in because my mom grew up in Manchester, and it's A cool parish.
And I cannot take the heat at all, at
That's
all, at
very
all.
ironic because she grew up in the heat. She can't handle it. I grew up in the freezing cold. I can handle the cold, but I also can handle the heat. So that's very ironic.
And it is because Eliona quite like it warm, but I don't. So and the other reason too is the amount of secondary schools that were available to us to select from for Eliona's education.
Ava Dean said thanks.
You're
D.
welcome,
Thomas
Ava.
said love, honor.
Oh, thank
Thank
you, D. Thomas.
you.
We love and appreciate you guys too.
Intuitive Lens said, so your home is Airbnb.
No, we don't have we don't own or operate an Airbnb, and we don't live in one either. However, people choosing to move here can choose to rent. The renting market in Jamaica is very vibrant. It's constantly moving. It's way more active than the selling real estate side of the market here. We bought a property when we were moving to Jamaica, and so that's where we live. Of course, we bought it with a mortgage, as we've said on some of our videos previously. And it's something that you can contemplate if you want to. If you wanted my suggestion, I would, if you're not that familiar with where exactly you want to live, I would suggest that you rent first and then go from there, or at least come for a period of time and then decide, check out the different areas to see where you would want to go before you buy.
As I said at the start, I want to thank all of the viewers, all the subscribers, and everyone that's a part of the JamFam tribe. We appreciate you very much.
And for those of you who were on here with us, we would appreciate if you share the link for this video with others who you think would need some of these questions answered for themselves.
Just to help them understand the process of moving to Jamaica. And yeah.
And do remember, if you are thinking of shipping, doing so through returning residents does help to give you a bit of the custom duty waiver. So it's something that you can consider. And we will do a video just explaining a little bit more about that process. So thank you so much for staying with us and for coming and spending this time with us. And for those of you who said that this is something you would want to see, we're going to look into how we can build that out a little bit more as we go on through. So bye for now. Are there any other? So we're answering this last one.
Norman FL said, are there any other parishes in Jamaica that you would live in other than Manchester? For me, I would maybe do Clarendon, and that's probably it.
I would do Portland.
Yeah, I would do Portland, but for me, even though it's like very rainy in Manchester, it's even more in Portland, and it's very far from all of the other parishes. And because Manchester is like in the middle-ish area, it's easier to go to all of the different ones that branch out. So I think if you want to choose a place, I think it would be best to choose the one in the middle, probably Clarendon or Manchester.
St. Elizabeth would be okay too, and St. Anne's, those are places.
St. Elizabeth, it's hot.
Yeah, some parts of it is hot. There are parts of it that are nice and cool, just like Manchester. It depends on where. If you're going around the Santa Cruz area, then of course it's going to be scorching. Just like how if you're going in the Maypen area of Clarendon, it's going to be hot, whereas some of the hilly parts of it is going to be nice and cool. So
Hewart said, lessons on your journey continues to say.
Thank you.
Hopefully you'll see a Kwanzaa live.
We will contemplate doing that, doing a Kwanzaa live. So we celebrate Kwanzaa, which is from December 26th to January 1st. And it's a Pan-African celebration just to help the Bantus in the West to reconnect with their roots, their African roots, and other groups of ethnic groups from Africa as well to connect. So hopefully we'll try and see if we can do one then. And we thank you so much for staying with us. We've answered, we think, the last question. And so we're just going to say
bye for now,
and we will see you in the next video.